the recognition. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I do represent Bauchi Central, Bauchi State. Mr. President, for all intent and purposes, a bill at the second reading carries the good, the bad, and the ugly. It is very, very important that this chamber does not become a court of law. This chamber should not look at technicality, no matter how strong, to throw a bill into a dustbin. Mr. President, why are we different from court? When a judge passes a sentence, he doesn't come out to explain the reason why he does it to the people. But when a parliament passes a bill or a motion, as the representative of the people, he now listens to them. He goes to them. Now, when a bill becomes at second reading, it is the opinion of that member or members put together. And therefore, to truncate a bill at the second reading for a mere technicality, begin to ask a question of people not actually taking cognizance of what a bill needs to do, what a member goes through to produce a bill. My take on this matter, yes, there are proliferation of agencies. But believe me, sir, if we are going to have 10 agencies in this country that will deal with the problem of drugs, so be it. Drug is the mother of all evil. Without drug, you can't see banditry. Without drugs, you can't see this rampant prostitution. Without drugs, you can see all these vices across this country. The mover is coming from Kano. Mr. President, not only Kano, most of the cities undoing today is an issue that has to do with drugs. Lastly, Mr. President, before Tony, when you see this bill, you refer it. Why are you referring it to the committee that deals with drugs and narcotics, which also NDLEA is part of it? And they go for public hearing. And it is the duty of that committee, when bringing their report, to make any amendment possible before the Nigerian Senate. And therefore, it is incumbent at every given time to advise senators that please, it is not intellectualism to shoot bill at the second reading because of mere technicality.
Thank you.
It is important that we know it and recognize it. Thank you very much for this attention.
Now, I want to thank the mover of this motion, my very good friend. But I have serious concerns, not about the intention. There is no disputing the fact that drug abuse has become a serious national challenge. But I think that in anything we do in this Senate, we must ask the question, can we not do it differently and get the same outcome without establishing so many institutions? Earlier in the year, the executive decided to review the much talked about Roshayi report, where we found that there are so many agencies with it, whose mandate appeared to be in conflict or overlapping. As we speak, Mr. President, sir, we have the NDLA. The sole mandate of NDLA is not only to address and prosecute drug traffickers. It is to deal with the whole gamut of drug abuse, enlightening those involved in drug abuse. They have training institute. They have all of the things they are supposed to do. My suggestion, Mr. President, and I think the senator who I just left his seat to arrest the president is being unfair. Mr. President, sir. No, I cannot, sir, because I even need to persuade you. I need to persuade you to understand the logic, the basis of my statement. I think what is possible is for us to look at the existing law that has to do with NDLA, whose mandate is captured here substantially, to see whether we need to make amendment to that law if there are certain things that the agency is not able to do because of some gap in the law that established it. But in my opinion, this idea of setting up an agency for every aspect of life, every area in which we have challenges, if we were to do so, we are going to have law against cough, law against all sorts of things, all the problems we have in Nigeria. I feel with profound respect to my dear friend and to my colleague, distinguished senators, let us look at this bill, the actual bill, not this debate, because we're actually debating without blindly, because the law is not before us. Reconcile it with the law establishing the NDLA and see whether or not we just need to strengthen the NDLA or we need a complete new outfit. My worry is that we are spending so much money on overhead. You are going to have directors, you are going to have boards, you are going to have all kinds of buildings, etc., etc. All of that goes into recurrent expenditure, which add little or no value to the quality of life of Nigerians. I agree we must deal decisively with drug-related issues, but I'm not convinced that we need to establish yet another agencies that will be competing with the NDLA. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr.
Dixon, Bayelsa West. Mr. President, first of all, I commend our colleague, the lead sponsor, for initiating this bill. And I commend you, too, for the way and manner you have conducted this debate by allowing members, as many members who want to say something on this very important subject matter, to do so. And the reason I have stood up is to lend my voice also to this debate. Mr. President and my dear colleagues, as we all know, there is a national crisis.
A minute, please. Please let me remind senators about Order 55-9. When a senator is speaking, no senator may converse aloud or make any noise or disturbance to interrupt him. Please, can we keep quiet, please? Could you please listen to Senator Dixon?
Thank you, Mr. President and my dear colleagues. As I was saying, our nation, in addition to several other problems, is currently faced with a national crisis of narcotics. We have a narcotic crisis at the family level, at community levels, in our wards and local governments and states, all across the length and breadth of this country. And that has also emerged in the course of this conversation. It is on that note that I want to say firstly, that I align myself with this bill, but not necessarily leading to the establishment of a body. But I align myself with the suggestions of distinguished Senator Ningi and Senator Alero. Because of the importance of the subject matter, my dear friends, let's not dismiss this bill or abort it at this stage. Let us, at least at this level, agree in general principle that there is need to strengthen the mechanism of enforcement in that sector and pass this bill so that at the committee level, in the presence of all the stakeholders, and in particular the NDLA, the Ministry of Justice, and then the other related agencies, they can now brainstorm and, if possible, rework the proposals as a necessary and appropriate amendment to the existing NDLA bill. That does not nullify the submissions and the guidance offered by Senator Shomole as to the need to avoid proliferation. But the subject matter we are dealing with is so important. We are losing the future of this country, losing the future of our families.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it is fueling criminality, it's fueling all forms of crimes and misdemeanors in our country. Finally, I want to use this opportunity to urge all of us, in our constituency appropriations and in exercising our appropriation powers, to allot sufficient funds to support the NDLA. I'm not saying that everybody should do what some of us have done. We can even build NDLA offices. I tried to do one in my place. And also carry out drug consultants and outreach programs, enlightenment programs for the young people as part of our own support.
Thank you.
To fight it at the grassroots level. But in all, I am in support of the general principles, and that this bill should be passed for second reading so that they can fine-tune it as an appropriate amendment to the NDLA law. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your...
After Mr. President,
Kamaila Sumaila, you speak to give the medical perspective to it. Right? But 1 minute, please.
Mr. President, my dear, respected and distinguished honorable colleagues, I am Suleiman Abdurrahman Kau Sumaila, representing Kano South Senatorial District. Mr. President, I think the intent of this bill, the content, and the general consensus of our distinguished senators are in support of anything that will stop drugs-related abuses in Nigeria. Therefore, but Mr. President, there is one aspect which we need to look into. Whether we created this agency, whether we strengthen the activities of NDLA, we need to do something. We, as politicians, we, as leaders in this country, we, as stakeholders, we need to do a lot. We all believe that religiously, both Islam and Christianity, even in our traditional religion, drugs-related abuse or drug abuse is prohibited. But who are encouraging and who are supporting it? Mr. President, we cannot achieve the result. We cannot achieve the intent of this bill unless and until we all agree that we will put our head together with relevant stakeholders to stop drugs abuse in Nigeria. Let us ask ourselves during our campaign, what are we doing with the so-called youth? How many of us can swear with Quran or Bible that in any way they are not supporting drug abusers in their constituency? If we, I am happy if all of us can swear with the Holy Quran that they are not in any way in support of drug abusers or intoxicating youth in their constituency to take drugs for their political. And Mr. President, we need, whether we are allowing this bill to continue to have an agency or we are strengthening LDE, we need to create a situation where before contesting election or before taking appointment at whatever in government level, you must go for drugs test. Finally, Mr. President, now I am speaking, I am here, as I am speaking now, most of our officers in our constituencies, most of our political office in our constituencies, most of our houses, when you go there, you will find out that there is mountain of drugs, and there are drugs dealers in our offices and in our houses or in our houses. I am immune to talk. I am in the chamber of the Senate, and I can take you to some of the political leaders who are in so many ways contributing or supporting drugs abuses in Nigeria. Therefore, Mr. President, we need to be serious. If we are talking, we need to understand we are all 1-9 here. Nigerians are watching us.
Thank you very
and God
much.
is with us. We must fight it between from our own side, not making law or not talking in the chamber of the Senate. We need to be serious. Let us go through the test and see who and who are not.
but excuse me, please, let me draw the attention.
Yes.
Order, please.
Okay, let us go for the drug test.
Order, please. Order, please.
From me.
Order. Let me draw the attention of my distinguished brother, Senator Kao Sumela, to order 56. Debate upon any motion, bill or amendment shall be relevant to such motion, bill or amendment except in the case of a substantive motion for the adjournment of the Senate. We should, when we are speaking, where we are contributing, our contribution to be relevant to the subject matter. In this case, your contribution is not relevant to the subject matter. I therefore rule out of order. Senator.
My esteemed colleagues, I move the motion that I be allowed to move for the second reading of this important bill. So move. Go ahead. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I sincerely thank you for the opportunity to read the debate on this very important bill. The bill was read the first time in these hallowed chambers on Tuesday, 28 May 2024. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the bill seeks to establish a National Institute for Drug Awareness and Rehabilitation. The establishment of the institute is informed by the high record of substance abuse in Nigeria. The bill, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, substance abuse is a significant public health concern that affects individuals, families, and communities worldwide. Nigeria, as Africa's most populous nation, is not exempt from this global epidemic. The country faces numerous challenges in combating substance abuse, but with the right strategies and the public health approach, Nigeria can address these issues and improve the overall well-being of its citizens. Substance abuse, which includes the misuse of alcohol, tobacco, illicit drugs, has severe consequences on individuals and society as a whole. It contributes to the various health problems such as liver diseases, cardiovascular disorders, mental health issues, and even death. Additionally, substance abuse has a profound social and economic impact, straining healthcare systems, reducing productivity, and fueling crime rates. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the objective of this bill is to raise public awareness about the dangers of drug abuse and illicit drugs, drug trafficking, conduct research and collect data to develop effective strategies for drug abuse prevention and rehabilitation, promote national efforts aimed at preventing drug abuse and facilitating rehabilitation of drug users, collaborate with the relevant agencies to curb the production, trafficking, and the abuse of illicit drugs, establish and manage rehabilitation centers for the treatment and reintegration of drug users in Nigeria. By providing accurate information about the risks and consequences of substance abuse, individuals can make informed decisions and resist peer pressure. This will also help to strengthen our healthcare infrastructure to ensure accessible and affordable treatment services for those struggling with substance abuse. Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues, I urge you to support the passage of this bill for second reading. Thank you very much. I submit, Mr. President.
We have from here Senator